Have you ever felt like saying, I'm tired just doesn't cut it? Like, it doesn't even begin to explain the feeling? That's where idioms come in. They give us a much more colorful and, honestly, a much more accurate way to talk about things like stress and exhaustion.
We have all been there. You're feeling swamped, and I'm busy just sounds so small. Well, idioms are kind of like a shortcut. They paint a picture that pretty much everyone gets right away. So let's build up that vocabulary.
All right, so where does all this stress usually start? Well, for a lot of us, it starts with a mountain of work. So this first set of idioms is all about that initial feeling of being totally overloaded. That moment you look at your to-do list and just, wow.
Okay, first up to my eyeballs. I mean, the image is just so clear, isn't it? It's that feeling of being totally submerged in tasks, like you're drowning in paperwork and you can just barely peek over the top of the pile. So you might say something like, I can't go out tonight, I'm up to my eyeballs in homework. You can just feel the weight of that homework in that one sentence.
Here's a real classic, having a full plate. It's just a perfect way to describe your capacity for, well, anything. Imagine your plate is just piled high with work and responsibilities. There's literally no room for even one more little thing.
And in a conversation, it sounds like this. I'd love to help, but I already have a full plate. It's a really great way to say no without being rude. It just clearly states you're at your limit.
Okay, I love the story behind this next one. Too many irons in the fire. It actually comes from old school blacksmiths. They'd have a few pieces of iron heating up in the fire at once. But if you put too many in, you can't get to them all in time and some of them get ruined. It's the perfect metaphor for trying to multitask too much.
And you can see exactly what happens right here. He's got too many irons in the fire and can't focus on one task. His attention is just spread too thin and nothing gets done right.
So, after you've been dealing with that giant too much work pile, what happens next? You hit the energy crisis. These are the idioms you use when you feel completely and utterly drained.
This one's pretty universal, I think. Running on empty. It's a straight-up metaphor from your car's gas tank. You're not just a little tired. No, you've got absolutely nothing left. You're basically just moving on fumes. Just think about that Friday feeling after a super long week.
After working all week, I'm running on empty.
Yep, it captures that feeling of total exhaustion perfectly. Now here is its close cousin, running out of gas. It's similar, but there's a little bit of a difference. This one is more about the process of losing energy. You started a project with tons of energy, but now halfway through, you can just feel yourself slowing down. So it sounds like this. I started strong, but I'm running out of gas now. You can almost hear the energy just fizzling out in that sentence. So this idiom describes the action that gets you into this exhausted state. You know, a candle's only supposed to burn from one end, right? If you like both, sure, you get more light, but the candle's gone twice as fast. It's the perfect picture of staying up super late and waking up super early, sacrificing all your rest for work. And because it describes a pretty destructive habit, you often hear it used as a warning from a friend. You're burning the candle at both ends, you need some rest. And if you burn that candle at both ends for long enough, this is what happens. You get burned out. This isn't just being tired for a day. Burnout is that deep, long-term exhaustion, both physical and mental, that comes from being stressed for way too long. The candle is just gone. The cause and effect are crystal clear in this one. She's burned out from working overtime every day. The one thing led directly to the other.
And that leads us to our final stop, the breaking point. This is what happens when the stress and exhaustion just become way too much to handle. These are the idioms for when you have hit your absolute limit.
Wow, what a powerful image, right? You're hanging onto a rope, you've been sliding down, and now your hands are at the very, very end. There's nowhere left to go. This one means you're at the absolute end of your patience and your ability to cope. And you can just feel the desperation when someone says it. I've tried everything to fix this problem, and I'm at the end of my rope. It's not just that you're annoyed, it's that you've given up. Okay, this one is dramatic. A come-to-Jesus meeting is a moment of truth. It's that super serious, no-holds-barred conversation where someone has to face the music. It's meant to force a big change. This is the meeting you really, really hope you never get called into. And this example just nails that high-stakes feeling. My boss called me for a come-to-Jesus meeting about missing deadlines. You just know that conversation is going to be intense and probably not very fun.
So there you have it, a quick tour through the language of being overwhelmed. We started with the cause, just having too much work. Then we moved on to the effect, feeling totally drained. And we finished at that final stage, reaching your absolute limit. It's amazing how having the right words can help us make sense of what we're feeling and help other people understand too. It kind of makes you think, doesn't it? What other feelings do we have that are just waiting for the perfect phrase to be invented? What part of your life needs a new word?